Like Purdue, it's just an example. Purdue losing to Fresno State is okay. We still win the Big Ten West. But me,
Billy Napier gets fired. I'm just kidding.
hey, really the best time of the year. I will be seated watching Red Zone for 7 hours on Sunday.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of Backyard Banter. Johnny, James, Tanner. We got free agency winners and losers this episode. We're going to write to Tanner for one of the biggest winners that made a pretty massive trade last night. Teacher, talk about your winner.
Yeah, my winner so far of the free agency offseason is the Chicago Bears. Maybe a little biased, but, I mean, the Bears and Ryan Poles, they're killing it. It started with Kevin Byard, bringing in that safety, needed him, cut Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson just wasn't performing. Kevin Byard's going to perform. That's a good contract, 2 years, $15 million. They get another good contract, DeAndre Swift. I think they're paying him like around $8 to $9 million a year. I think that's very fair for a running back that kind of can do everything. He can catch passes out of the backfield, something the Bears need desperately. And then you bring in Gerald Everett, and now finally you trade for Keenan Allen. That Keenan Allen trade is awesome. You gave up a 4th-round pick, which isn't crazy high in the draft. Obviously, every pick matters, but you give up a 4th-round pick for someone who just had 1,300 yards in 12 games.
Heck of a year, yeah.
He's going to be disgusting next to DJ Moore. The Bears only have 4 draft picks now, so you got to trade back. You got to trade out of 1, out of 9. You got to trade out of something. You got to get more picks in the later rounds this year. So I expect the Bears to trade back. I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. Probably closer to the draft, but I think the Bears are locked to trade back now. They need draft capital. So yeah, I love what they're doing. The Bears have quickly turned themselves into a playoff team. Yeah. And I like what Ryan Poles has done.
Let me play devil's advocate really quick for the Bears. One, I completely agree the Bears should be a playoff team, but that should be the expectations. We were just talking about before. NFC North is going to be wild next year. You got 3 teams that could realistically win the division. Then you got Sam Darnold, QB1 in Minnesota. But I'm playing devil's advocate because let's see what they do with Fields. If they decide to draft Caleb Williams, then I think they quickly go from one of the highest winners to closer to that losers line, because if you were to trade Fields, now Adam Schefter has reported Team CM as a backup in the league. That's pretty concerning for me. Also, when you sign a quarterback, Justin Fields needs to get paid. He gets his 5th-year option, which I don't know if it's been picked up yet, and then he needs to get extended if the Bears are going to roll with him. And once you pay a quarterback, he's going to get at least $30 million, at least. That's just what the market is. Then you can't go out and go out and trade for a Keenan Allen. You can't go out and sign even potentially a Kevin Byard, because you look at the teams that go around and have the most quarterback, like money to quarterback. The Bills are cutting everyone. The Chargers are restructuring and cutting everyone. The Patrick Mahomes just gave up $21 million so the Chiefs could sign Hollywood Brown, and the Saints are in hell for signing Derek Carr. Those are just right off the top of the head. So. Very interested to see what the Bears could do with that one pick. It's I think could be potentially a win-win either way. If a win, you get Caleb Williams, you restart that quarterback clock. You got 5 more years on a quarterback on a team-friendly deal where you still do that. Or Justin Fields goes out and performs and he gets paid and the Bears are still a contender. But yeah, we'll see. Keenan Allen has dealt with some injuries lately, but regardless, giving up only a 4th for that kind of production when, for example, the Lions gave up a 3rd for Carlton Davis, who's on the last year of his deal. I know the Bucs sent some draft capital back, but yeah, good work there by Ryan Poles. James, do you want to get into your winner?
Yeah, well, I mean, I will get into mine, but obviously as a Bears fan, I want to say a couple things about it. The Gerald Everett thing, that acquisition is not getting – it's actually getting some hate. Like when you look at like the grading, and take that for whatever you want. Right. They're grading it like a C- acquisition because – and I get it. Gerald Everett hasn't been like a world-renowned tight end or anything, but when he's used and utilized, he's a threat. On all and as a tight end too, I'll take him. Right for the money we spent, I'll take him. Going on to Keenan Allen, a lot of questions. Did he only have 1,300 yards last year because they lost Mike Williams? I don't know. Obviously, Keenan Allen. You can't.
1,300 yards.
1,300 yards, absolutely. So he was obviously wide receiver 1 last year for them with Mike Williams going out. But I FaceTimed Tanner last night when we got him because I was like, did I read that right? Like, did we really give up a 4th-round draft pick for one of the best receivers in the game? And to pair that up with DJ Moore, man, I mean, you look at what this Bears team needs. It's close. It's really close. Every year I'm excited, but this year, I mean, we haven't even drafted yet, and I'm super excited. All right, and now into my team that I picked. It's kind of Tanner's team at the same time. We're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not sure if they're the biggest winner. They're one of my biggest winners just because of the fact when I look at this depth chart, right, this updated depth chart, I am scared. Like, this team is gross. We'll get into it here. Obviously, you got George Pickens. Stud. That remains the same. Offensively, nothing really changes. They're gonna need another receiver.
Yep.
That is for sure.
Thank God this receiver class is incredible.
It's incredible, and it's amazing. They got rid of
Deontay Johnson,
and who was a guy who didn't want to be in Pittsburgh, right? That is the best case scenario. Get rid of a guy who doesn't want to be there. Perfect. You're gonna need a receiver. Honestly, I think their wide receiver 2 right now is Des Fitzpatrick. Don't know who that is, truthfully. Like, not going to lie. They've got Marquez Callaway, who I believe played for the Saints. But other than that, they're going to need some wide receiver help. Obviously, they still got Najee, Freiermuth, and now you get Russell Wilson. And we talked about it in the last pod. I think that is a huge win for the Steelers. It's a huge win for Russell Wilson. You pay him $1 million to come play quarterback, and he did it at a pretty high level last year. And I think it's just such a win for the Steelers. Now you look at the defense. And this defense was good last year, and it was what made them have a contention, and it got better, right? So we don't need to talk about the Cam Haywards. We don't need to talk about the TJ Watt. They go out and get Patrick Quinn, and they get him for 3 years, 40-some million.
41, I think.
What a deal. What a deal. We talked about the grade. I was just talking about the Bears. This grade was an A+, and you don't see very many A+ gradings. At least I don't when I look at my teams and the teams that I follow. So what a win for the Steelers. They go out and they get Elliott, the safety. They pay him like $6 million. This free agency has been really weird for safeties. They're not paying. They're like running backs. They're just not getting paid. So you get another veteran piece. And then let's not forget you have Minka Fitzpatrick back there. And at the end of the day, you also have Mike Tomlin. And when you give Mike Tomlin a roster like this, who knows what he can do? They've got talent on both sides of the ball now. They're going to need some wide receiver help. But I am super excited to watch the Steelers team this year. This defense is going to be explosive and fun to watch on all sides of the ball. They've got a great line. They've got good linebackers now. They've got a good secondary. And Mike Tomlin's going to coach this team to 11, 12 wins. And if all they need is maybe another receiver, this team could be legit next year.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin took Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett to the playoffs last year.
Exactly.
And shout out to the Steelers front office realizing that Kenny Pickett isn't it. Like Tanner and I were talking about, you're going to miss on some picks. It happens. There's a bad quarterback class. You decide to reach on a hometown kid. It didn't work out. Good for them realizing it. Going out, I mean, Denver's paying $38 million to Russell Wilson, so you get him on legitimate. You cannot pay him any less. It's the league minimum. So shout out to the front office over there. My winner is the Atlanta Falcons. Again, I'm a big fan of Raheem Morris, their head coach. He did some really good stuff with the Rams. He was actually the Bucks head coach once upon a time way back. Once again, realizing Desmond Ridder is not it. Don't even try. Don't even risk where they are in the draft. You're looking at more of a J.J. McCarthy type quarterback. I think they're right around from. Are they behind the Bears or right in front of the Bears?
I think they are at pick 8.
Them
getting receivers is huge for the Bears, being able to get one at 9 if they fall potentially.
Yeah. But so they go out and sign Kirk Cousins. Gave him an insane amount of money. Shout out to Kirk Cousins, man. I mean, from being on the franchise tag for 2 years in Washington, then he got $96 million on his first contract with Minnesota, re-signed with them, then going out and get another $100 million guaranteed regardless. Coming off an ACL and Achilles. Yeah. Kirk Cousins is a really good quarterback. He's a top 12, top 10 quarterback, and in that division, it's an interesting take that I heard Colin Cowherd say, and I agree with it. If Patrick Mahomes and Herbert in that division, you probably don't give Kirk Cousins $180 million. But since the other best quarterback is Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr, you give him that money because you can win that division. Yeah. You go out and sign Darnell Mooney. I'm not the biggest Darnell Mooney fan. He's okay, but you don't even necessarily need another receiver because you got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Drake London on the outside too. Darnell Mooney is going to be another nice complimentary piece.
Rondale Moore came in.
Rondale Moore, yeah. They traded They traded Desmond Ridder to Arizona for Rondale Moore. I just really like what the Falcons are doing. I still think they could use an edge rusher on defense, so maybe Dallas Turner gets there in the draft. But yeah, as a Bucks fan,
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
We'll see.
But
Yeah.
But as a Bucks fan, I was on the boat with my dad, and he said that, the Kirk Cousins just said, I said, please don't say the Falcons. And he said to the Falcons, the Falcons. I think the Falcons were legitimately a quarterback away from being a playoff contender, not a Super Bowl contender, a playoff contender.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our winners.
And the two teams that we just talked about, they're two teams that made a playoff push, kind of, with god awful quarterback play, and they went out and they addressed that situation, and now who knows what can happen. So the three teams that we have talked about all had quarterback issues, and the Bears question mark. The Steelers obviously know what they're doing. Falcons do down, but
I mean the Falcons were a Baker Mayfield minute 20 touchdown drive away from leading the NFC South going into the final 2 weeks. But quickly, I want to talk about one loser. It's the Dallas Cowboys.
100%.
We talk about paying big time quarterbacks and what you have to do to that. Dak's cap hit is like $57 million, which is insane. You can't win like that. And you see they haven't signed anyone. They signed Kendricks. I don't even know. He was supposed to go to 49ers. Then he supposedly signed with Dallas. Right now, the running back one is Deuce Vaughn.
Well, and that's the thing. So I saw a rumor.
We go down.
They lose, whatever. So they lose Pollard, right? Everyone saw that coming. Whatever. There was rumors that they were trying to go after Zach Moss, but his contract was too big. And you know what he wanted? $4 million.
Yep.
And they said, nah, it's too expensive. They have put themselves in a situation where they're taking the exact same team they had last year that faltered in the playoffs because they're not good enough to win in the playoffs. And they're just going to say, all right, you got to roll with this. We're not even going to – and they don't even have coaching technically because they haven't extended him. So
they've gotten worse since then. And
yeah.
As a Cowboys fan, I would not be happy because you lose Stephon Gilmore. You lose, again, Tony Pollard. Dak's asking for another extension. I wouldn't give Dak another extension.
No.
He's won 1 or 2 playoff games. He has the same number of playoff wins as Baker Mayfield has. I'm not paying Dak another however much. He's getting paid over 45, right around 40, 45 million. I'm not giving him that again. Yeah. It just debilitates your franchise when you give quarterbacks that big of a deal unless you're that upper echelon, unless you're Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
And you're not.
That's why I'm concerned with the Bears if they don't restart that quarterback clock with Caleb Williams, depending on what they end up paying Justin Fields. But yeah, we're staying positive. We mostly have winners.
Yeah, the Fields. Yeah. The Cowboys are by far the losers so far. And who knows? There's still some time. They could make a splash, but there's not many components out there to make a splash. So Cowboys, man, they got to figure it out. Jerry World's got to. Yeah. If they want to pack that place and win some playoff games, they're gonna have to figure it out.
They're gonna have to draft well.
Yeah, we're gonna draft really well. But those are our winners and loser of NFL free agency. Check us out on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. We're gonna be posting a few grids over the weekend. If you guys made this far, subscribe, leave a like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
See ya.
Bracket.